wearing contacts today, so glasses. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Yeah, I forgot it was Sunday. That's one of the things that I think it happens to everybody, that like when you are on vacation, you lose track of time and you don't know what day of the week it is. And yeah, so same thing's happening to me. Usually, like, Sunday I do the live stream outside, and you know, so I was like, oh, today's Sunday, yeah. But yeah, it is Sunday today. So I will be doing the advent calendar today as well. And today's topic is the exam. Everybody's favorite exam. Dawn, go Team Berry, good morning. And Wayne, thanks. Go Team Berry, howdy. But today is the 4th. Let's find the 4th. Where's the 4th? Where is the 4th? I must say, my favorite tea so far was yesterday's black tea. I thought my favorite was Earl Grey. The first was Earl Grey. But I like the yesterday's black tea. Like, I think it was like afternoon tea. Where's the 4th? Oh, Noel. Found it. And Tennessee, hello. Go Team Berry. Ta-da. Rubos? Rubos? Or Gray? Do I pronounce the I? Rooibos? Or Gray? An attractive rooibos flavored with a delicious twist of citrusy bergamot. What is bergamot? It's naturally caffeine free. I don't know about citrusy though.柑橘香る爽やかなフレーバールイボスティーカフェイン0 2 minutes. Cool. Let's try this. Oh, smells nice. Smells a little sweet. There we go. So 2 minutes. So it's not normal Earl Grey, right? I'm just going to say nobody knows how to pronounce. It's kind of I guess it's kind of similar to the chocolate company Godiva. And I have a friend who is from Belgium, and so they pronounce in that country, they pronounce Godiva. So like Japanese people say Godiva. It's Godiva or Godiva. I don't know the where the emphasis, but the half of the English speakers, I guess, would say Godiva. So it's kind of, and where is it? The Japanese camera company, Nikon, Roy Boss, Rui Boss. I know. And what is it? Um, Not Canon. Nikon. So Nikon, it's I think it's Japanese company. So Japanese people say Nikon, but then I guess English way of saying is Nikon. Yeah. So 2 minutes. Thank you. Roy as in a person name and boss like as in workplace boss. Yeah, Nikon, but it's actually Nikon. 2 minutes. Oh, it's kind of orange. Cheers. Smells good though. Oh, interesting. It said yeah, citrusy refreshment and refreshing, but doesn't really. You can smell the citrus, but you don't really taste citrus. But it doesn't taste like Earl Grey either. More like, kind of more like oolong tea, kind of like Asian tea. Not bad, not bad. Still, my favorite is black tea though. I like simple one. I'm not a big fan of herbal tea. Anyway, anyway, so today's topic is because I chose this because I know like some of you black tea all the way. Some of you commented in the last live stream, yesterday's live stream, about like some New Year's related topic. But then I realized this is also New Year's related, in Japan only, I guess. But January is I would say, the busiest month of the year for students. And that's one of the reasons why Japanese students cannot um, enjoy Christmas and New Year's holiday. Not like every single year, but when you hit a certain age. So in Japan, the mandatory education is up to ninth grade, so middle school. And so you don't have to take any exams to get into preschool, elementary, and middle school. However, if you want to go to like private school, or if you want to get into some like elite schools, you have to start taking exam from preschool. And in order to pass those exams, you have to go to cram school. because you can't really, um, how can I say? You can't really just prepare for the exams by yourselves, because there is like a trend every year, and thing like kind of like tips, you know. And so the quickest way is to just go to those cram school and learn the best way. And so that start from preschool, and then elementary school, and then middle school. And even if you didn't want to take any of those exams, you have to take your first exams when you enter high school. High school is not mandatory. So technically, you don't have to go to high school. But if you don't go to high school, that means you don't have any job. So I mean, the Constitution was written long, long time ago. So back in the day, yeah, um, not so many people didn't have the time and the money to send children to high school. So and then there were a lot of work, like more like blue collar work, and they would go until like they would graduate. My grandma only graduated from middle school, and but still she had tons of jobs, right? Like job options, and she had no problem working, and she supported her family, and same thing for my grandpa. But nowadays, it's kind of like people are default to go to um, go to university, and even if you graduate from university, it's very difficult to get a good job. And so um, you have to take an exam to get into high school. And after high school, of course, you have to take an exam to get into university. And Ohio, James, go Team Berry. And still, like, I mean, like, there are many different types of like job offers, and many different ways to work nowadays compared to like, a decade ago, 2 decades ago. However, because of the internet and everything like that. However, still, like, Japanese people follow the traditional way. And the biggest um, exam in Japan happens in the middle of January, and that's for university. And that's kind of like for like pretty much like everyone takes the same test at the same time. Finally caught one of you live. Yay! And so this year, I think I just Googled. This year, they are having it's 2 days exam. It's usually Saturday and Sunday, and it's happening on the 16th and 17th, I guess. And depending on which university you want to apply to, the subject that you have to take are a little bit different, and the scores that you have to get are a little different. So first you take those tests, like 2-day tests, and then you just check your answers the next day, and then based on that, you would decide which university you want to apply to. So if they would give you like rough estimate, if you cross this line, then you are more likely to move on to stage 2. So just because you passed the first test, that doesn't mean that you can enter the university. Then there's like the second test and the third test and stuff like that. And the most difficult part is that um, is that if you want to go to private universities, there are many options, and then the tests test dates are different. So you can apply to multiple schools all at once. But for example, yeah, like Don says, like Tokyo University. Tokyo University is a public university. So public universities, many people want to get into public universities because the tuition is about 1/10 of the tuition of private universities. So if you are a rich kid and if you don't want to study, and if you just want to get into any private universities, then you don't really have to worry about the test. However, if you are a normal kid, normal kid, and usually parents would, push you to get into one of those public universities, hopefully good ones. And then you only have one chance per year. You can only apply for one public university because all the public universities, the tests are held in on the same day. So that means that if you fail and if you don't have money to go to any private universities, that means you have to wait one more year. So usually those people would go to um, like special cram school, or they they get a part-time job or something like that and study on their own, and they will prepare for the next exam in the following year. Yeah, mine doesn't really count because I went to university overseas. So, anyway, so that's why like it's very life-changing because like which university you go to, and then like depending on, because we only have like one chance per year, which means, and it's like during winter, so of course like some of them would get unlucky and I caught like the flu or like COVID or something. And but still they still have to go. Have the special room for those like sick people, because like they can't really force them out because then they would lose the chance. So that means they have like a special room for people who are sick, and they can take the test there so that they won't affect other healthy people. So anyway, the but however, most of the universities in Japan to graduate is very easy. So just like getting in is the hardest part. So their entire life, from their childhood up to the age of 18, will be prepared for the specific test for that like college entering exam. And after that, they would forget everything they learned because they don't really have to attend any classes in university. So what they do is that they would just maybe show up to the only important classes where they need to take exams. But like university exams after you get in is more like you can bring in anything, and the professors will give you the happy birthday, um give you answer keys, and so you don't really learn anything unless you go to like one of those like top universities. So yeah, so that leads to the other things that, oh, we're running out of time, so I might set this as like a separate topic. But the other thing is that because most of Japanese companies know that university students don't really learn anything in Japan, so getting a job, like job hunting, is another hurdle that they have to kind of overcome. But it's very different from what you expect in the Western countries, because companies know that they haven't learned anything in the in the university. And Wayne, thank you so much for the super chat. So I would say this is like a good question. So I'll answer this one. But I would say the questions or the subjects, it covers many different types of subject. It starts like economics, and then like IT, and uh, like Japanese, English, what else? Like history, algebra, geometry, and things like that. And depending on your major, you have to choose the right subject. And however, I would say from my experience, so I went to not university. I went to university as well, but like I went to high school in America, and in this there I took algebra, like algebra, yeah, algebra, and that was ridiculously easy because that was junior level algebra, but that was something that I learned in middle school, like first maybe page one in my algebra textbook in middle school in Japan. So, that being said, um, I will say the Japanese, like high school students who have been prepared for those exams and trying to get into one of the elite schools, universities. I want yeah, my teacher's like, oh, you have to move on to geometry and calculus and stuff like that. And then I was like, nope, this is my treat. Like, I don't have to think. So yeah, I don't have to think, and I have to think because like that was my first year in the States. I didn't understand much of English, so I was like, this is my like break. So I refused to get into more difficult ones. They asked me if I want to go move on to AP calculus and stuff, but yeah, no. But what was gonna say? What was gonna say? What was I talking about? Yeah. So basically, I would say the kind of like the level of their understanding of all the subjects at the age of 18, it's kind of similar to most of the university graduates, like undergraduate level of the average universities in the US, I think. So, Japanese high school graduate and then Americans university graduates, their like knowledge and um, understanding are kind of the same. But then if you go to America's like very elite schools, elite universities, you don't go for like liberal arts. You go to like very specific ones, and you go to you get master degrees and then PhD and stuff like that. So then, while Japanese students, once they get into university, they get lazy, and most of the kids would just have fun because they have been suppressed to go out and have fun with friends, and then they haven't been able to enjoy the freedom. But finally they have freedom, they have freedom, and then many people move out of their parents house and they live there on their own, and so they're like yay, and then they don't really study but they can graduate from university anyway. So overall, some of like overall uh not so many Japanese people at the time of they graduate from universities grow from what they were at the age of 18. More or less they have less knowledge because they don't keep studying. So, but anyway, so what's your time? Thank you so much. I don't want to exhaust myself. So, alrighty. So I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining. I'll take a nap. And I will finish the tea and I'll take a nap. And bye bye. Bye bye. Enjoy the tea. Thank you. Peace out. じゃあね